Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp, they cut right through. Real talk for the soul's appeal. Prayers rise up the wounds they heal. Lift our voices to the sky. A righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down. For the Father wears the crown. Each step brings another fight. Breaking chains, we're seeking light. Voice of power won't be tamed. With His love, we're never shamed. Lift our voices to the sky. A righteous perspective high. On this path we won't back down. For the Father wears the crown. From the ashes we shall rise. Hope is found deep in our eyes. Every word a battle cry. With the Father none deny.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Hump day. It is hump day. What's going on? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. It's your man Wise. Welcome to A Righteous Perspective, man. This is Wednesday. I appreciate you guys pulling up today. Let me know in the chat where you are watching from, city, state. Love to give you guys a shout out. I got some early shout outs as well. We got some new members to the ARP family. Redefined Queen, shout out to you. Appreciate you supporting the channel. I definitely appreciate it. Appreciate you as well, Eric Smith, gold member to the channel. I appreciate you supporting the channel. You guys do not understand how much it means to me. I really, really appreciate it. What's going on, TA Caskey? Shout out to the mods. I'm sure Susanna65 will be in the building. Hopefully B will be in the building as well. Appreciate you guys pulling up, man. We got a good show today. We got some good things to talk about. I see Mark Lynn in the building. What's going on with you, brother or sister? It's Mark Lynn. I gotta ask a question. Mark Lynn, are you a man or a woman? It's Mark Lynn. I'm thinking it's a woman, but I gotta ask because I know I've hit you up and was like, "What's up, brother?" And then I had to think about it. I was like, "Wait, that's probably not a man." But I do appreciate you, and I see you all the time in the comments. You obviously know that because I respond to you when I see you, and I definitely appreciate you supporting the channel. You've been rocking with me for a long time. Oh, Wise, I know where you at, TA. I know where you at. I know you're in Massachusetts. I already know, and it's probably cold as I'll get out because it's cold up here, raining and cold. And it's been a good day, man. I just got back. I was rushing back. I don't think you guys know this, but I ref high school basketball. And I had a game this kind of afternoon, evening or whatever. And, so I was rushing back. It's raining and it's nasty out and it's cold. And it's kind of what you get, this time of the year in the mid-Atlantic. We're just short of the Northeast. But appreciate you guys, man. NPO Creations in the building. What's going on with you, Brooklyn? What else? We got the Midwest in a freeze. Yes, I did see that on the news the other day or earlier today. Yeah, TA, yeah, I'm for sure. It's raining. We got it down here, but at least you guys are in the 60s. At least you guys are in the 60s. We're probably about 20 degrees colder than that right now. And yeah, man, we got a great show today. We got a lot to get into. There are some crazy things going on up in New Jersey. San Diego is a super sanctuary city. I've never even heard the term before, but they making up stuff now. And we got to talk about that. And we got a couple other things to get into. Obviously, Tom Homan went out to Chicago, and he is putting a smackdown on these super woke, far left progressive mayors, letting it be known, if you get in the way, I will arrest you. I'm 100% here for it. I'm 1000% here for it. I am. So we got a lot to get into, man. Oh, Nick J, hey, 50 in Vegas. Well, that's not too bad. I know we went out to Vegas, and around about this time of the year, one year, it was a couple of years back. I'll never do it again. I didn't realize that it actually gets cold out there. I didn't realize that, so I wasn't prepared for the briskness of the Vegas weather out there. I just thought it was warm pretty much year round because it's so hot when you go out there in the summer months. All right. Yeah, Eric Smith, you're absolutely right, man. The Mid-Atlantic, DMV, it can get cold, and it is cold today. It's nasty outside. Very nasty. All right, Wisconsin. Okay. See you, Scott Voigt. Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate you guys pulling up, man. We had a great show yesterday. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Seems like the chat was bumping. For the most part, it was peaceful. Like I said the other day, hey, we will not censor in the chat. I just ask that you try not to cuss people out. Do not cuss people out. Do not make threatening statements at people, but you do have the ability to speak your mind. We will not censor you. I want people to be able to have civil discourse in the chat. I'm good with that. Civil discourse, civil debate in the chat. That's what this thing is about. I don't want to live in some echo chamber where I'm, constantly, hearing my own voice. And we don't want to live in that. We don't want to live in that society. That's what they do over there on the left. We don't want to live like that. Steve Anderson and Bozeman in the building. Appreciate you. I do ask that you guys hit the like button. That is the least that you could do for me. Hit the like button. Just hit the like button. I guess I got to make sure that if you'd like to support the channel, obviously you could join the ARP family. Super chat, super thanks are welcome. I believe there's a Cash App in there. There is a PayPal link in there as well. You can buy me a coffee. There's a couple of ways to support the channel. It definitely supports the team here, and we definitely appreciate it for sure. All right. I believe Thursday we are going to do a call-in show. I will put that on the I'll put that on the thumbnail and let it be known, hey, it will be a call-in show. We'll cover some stories or whatever the case may be, but I'm definitely looking forward to speaking with some of you guys. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. You ask me whatever question you'd like to ask me. We'll try to keep it brief just so if there is a kind of a backlog, if we got a queue of people, that way we can get as many people in, as well to kind of speak their mind. But I'm definitely looking forward to that. And that will be tomorrow. And then that will pretty much be it. I can't do these things on Fridays because I got things going on. So the plan is to, do the live and do this, Monday to Thursday. And then obviously I'll continue to produce content and things of that nature, for the weekend or whatever the case may be. But I won't be going live, on Fridays. Plus, I know you guys go out and party and do those types of things. I don't do those types of things, but I know you guys still getting out, hitting the clubs and all that other kind of stuff. What's going on, Ed? Appreciate you pulling up today. I know you're down there in Mississippi. It gets cold, but for the most part, I don't think it gets that cold down there. I was down in Biloxi probably about 2 years ago. Went down and played some golf, played some really good golf courses, played the Grand Bear, played, what else did I play out there? Fallen Oaks, and there was one other course that I can't think of, but those are the two that really stuck out. And those were phenomenal golf courses. People were nice, food was great, it was awesome. Oh, okay, y'all got 28 degrees down there in Mississippi? Goodness gracious. That's colder than it is up here. Wow. Wow. TA said he's too old for the clubs, plus he quit drinking. Hey, you can always be, a DD for some of the homies. You can always do that. I'm sure they would appreciate it. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So we're gonna get the show popping. We're gonna get things started. We're gonna kick things off. I don't know if you guys have seen it. But there's a situation going on up in New Jersey. I don't know if you guys have heard the news about what's going on up in New Jersey, but it's pretty interesting to let's check this out, man, because there's some craziness going on right now.
Mysterious drones spotted in the New Jersey night sky.
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties.
Mysterious drones spotted in
Okay. So it wants to load now. All righty. Well, we're going to get this thing. Give me a second. And, like I said, we're building the plane as we fly it.
the New Jersey night sky, prompting an FBI investigation. Residents in Morris County have been recording the large drones which appear in the sky at night. They say it started in mid-November. So joining me now is Mayor Sam Morris, and Mine Hill Township is experiencing some of this activity.
I got a question in the chat. Have you guys heard anything about these drones going on up in New Jersey?
Mayor, thank you, first of all, for your time. You've seen these drones. Before we talk about the theories on the source of them, kind of just describe what you've experienced.
Been hearing about them, but last Tuesday night, a resident in town, one of my neighbors on my block, said that there were 8 overhead over our elementary school and municipal complex, which are, on the same block. So I got in my car and I rode around here. And by the time I got around here, which is only about a half-mile ride, the drones had all moved east over the town of Dover, New Jersey, kind of in between us. There's a large county park, and they were everywhere. I have a video of it was 4 with a kind of a stationary drone. What it appeared to us was there was 1 drone that was just stationary, and 4 were going back and forth in a scanning pattern. I'm a little older, so I would, look like Pong from back in the day, right? Back, forth, and they went over the town of Dover. I went down into Dover to see a better look, get some more pictures, and they moved east again. And that was my own personal observation. I have residents reporting, last night some residents reported that there were, over various times of the evening, they were watching, and there were 12 over our lake. And they can't get pictures because they come out really grainy, and they're still like little dots on cell phones. I'm hoping some folks with some really good equipment can get out there. I know there's a fellow in town who has infrared night equipment. He's going out tonight looking. He's going to try to see if he can get. But it's very disconcerting.
What do you think is going on, Mayor? What do you think this is?
Well, to be intentionally a little inflammatory, the state of New Jersey has been invaded by drones. The question and the problem and the nervousness is by who? Because they are everywhere. There are hundreds of these things. I have friends up and down the state. They're reporting down at the Jersey Shore, in southern counties, Cape May, all the way up into Sussex County. The length of the state, they're reporting that there are drones everywhere. Theories range from that it's a military exercise because President Trump flies in and out of New Jersey and has property here, to they're organized clubs who are just putting them up in the air. But the activity of the drones, the methodical scanning back and forth, it gives a lot of people pause because they're not really sure what that's about. Right. There are people who say they're geo tracking or something. I forget what the word is, scanning, almost like a Google Earth, but a night thing, but it's all crazy speculation in the fact that no one's provided answers.
Right. So we know that it's prompted some FBI investigations, or at least word of them. What do you think happens next, Mayor?
What I hope happens next is This is how I see it, and I'm not speaking for any of the other mayors that have been on the letters that have been presented. I'm just going to speak for myself. Either or, they either need to tell us or trusted people around us, like county sheriffs, who can reassure us that they know what it is and they are comfortable with what it is, and that, you know, we all know there are things that the government can't tell us for security reasons, or they need to go find out.
Right.
They need to, one of the phrases I've been using is they need to follow a drone home. These drones only have limited battery life, right?
Yeah.
They
Well,
put
Mayor,
up a military drone.
I apologize. We are out of time, but we know,
yeah,
there is a push right now to get some answers because a lot of people, certainly in that area, have a lot of questions. Mayor Sam Morris.
Now, the first report that I saw, and I was on vacation, but the first report that I saw about this situation was about 9 days ago. And for whatever reason, I didn't bring it to you guys' attention, one, and I kept trying to figure out, like, is anybody else going to cover this? Because it was just a local network. It was a local NBC network up in New Jersey that covered this initially. And this was, like I said, it was about 9 days ago. And when I saw it, I immediately sent this to my friends because we talk about all kinds of crazy things when we get together, and you know, we're somewhat conspiracy theorists to an extent, and we're always talking about, you know, these things like that could happen. And they said that these things are car-sized drones, that they've spotted these things in New Jersey since mid-November. Now, the report, like I said, the first report that I saw on this was about 9 days ago, but they're saying that there's been at least 49 sightings reported in one day. And the FBI and local authorities are currently investigating these unmanned aircraft, you know, flying, you know, but the thing is that they're flying near critical infrastructure. They're near military bases. I don't know how much you guys know about what's going on up in New Jersey, but in New Jersey, they also have one of the largest, you know, armor depots, you know, out there. So these things are flying over. They don't know who they are. They don't know where they come from. You know, and if you guys recall, maybe a year, 2 years ago, maybe a little longer than that, it's probably, you know, time flies, but they found those Chinese balloons that were floating, you know, basically floating all the way across the country. And it just makes you wonder, who in the heck is watching the skies? Who's responsible, one, for this, but who's responsible for making sure that when you see these, you know, Chinese balloons and these drones, one, that they get shot down if you don't know who they are? And the fact that the governor, I'm sorry, I guess this is the governor, the fact that the governor is on TV doing an interview and doesn't know what the heck is going on after finding out that this has been going on since mid-November. I mean, it's weird. It's the weirdest thing ever. Exactly, Ed. Where is Space Force right now? You know, and it's these drones, obviously extremely mysterious, but they've disrupted emergency services. They've, you know, disrupted medevac helicopters, you know, that are responding to car crashes. They're, like I said, they're flying near sensitive locations like military bases and infrastructure. And a lot of people are concerned up there. And it's definitely raising public safety concerns for sure. It's the weirdest thing ever. And the crazy thing is that no one's really talking about this. And you kind of have to ask yourself, why is no one talking about this? You would think that this would be some form of, you know, security breach of some sort. You would think. That wasn't the governor? I thought she said it was the governor. Maybe he was a mayor of one of the cities in New Jersey. Maybe that was the case. But yeah, it's the weirdest thing ever. The weirdest thing ever. And like I said, I don't understand why no one's like really in a panic or taking this seriously, because it seems like this is definitely a security breach of some sort. It seems like it to me. What do you guys think? How many of you guys in the chat had even seen this story? I'm looking forward to hear, you know, what you guys have to say about this. How many of you guys have seen this story right here? Or is this the first time that you've heard of this? All right, Eric Smith says he has a app on his phone, on his iPhone called Flight Trader 24. It's going to start tracking it. Yeah, do that. I'd love to get you back on, Eric. I'd like to hear, what you find. I'm not familiar with that particular app, but I'd like to hear what you find out about it, if there is any information out there. And, there's, like I said, News Nation covered it. I saw an article, not an article, but a story on this from 9 days ago. It was local New Jersey NBC network that covered it. And that's pretty much it. BT, you said you've been hearing about it for a few days. Okay, good. At least some of you guys are hearing about it, but people don't seem to be too concerned. And I don't know, man. I'd feel a certain kind of way if we found out, New Jersey is not that far away from where I am. And, some of you guys that are on the Northeast is not that far away from you guys as well. Everything up this way is within about a 4 or 5 hour drive. So, a drone, we're talking, 30 minutes, up and down, 30, 35 minutes up and down the coastline, to get up and down between, the mid-Atlantic to the Northeast. So, yeah, this is weird. Melody, since you did see this, what were your thoughts the first time, you saw this story, or the first time you heard about these drones up there? What were your thoughts? I thought it was the craziest thing ever. I sent it to a couple of friends, and we're just like, because we were just talking about this. We were just talking about, drones and things of that nature, and the need of a shotgun and stuff, so forth and so on. So, yeah, this is weird as all get out. B says maybe the same one controlling these drones are the same one controlling our meeting. You may be onto something there, B. You may be onto something. Oh, there was been a sighting down in North Carolina as well. Wow. Okay, interesting. I'm gonna keep my eye on this. This won't be the last time, that we cover this story on the channel. We definitely gonna keep our eyes on it, man, because this is interesting. And the fact that we haven't heard anything from the FBI or, from the president or from anybody, when you have, a plethora of drones that are the size of small cars. These aren't like the little drone that you can buy on Amazon. These aren't that. These are basically small planes, essentially. We definitely need some answers. And I hope that we, figure out what the heck is going on in the very near future. We're going to move on to the next quick story here that I came across. I don't know if you guys heard, but Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow had his house broken into the other day. And yeah, it's pretty interesting, man. This is something that's been going on for a little bit.
Joe Burrow was leading his team to victory in Dallas Monday night.
Someone broke into my house.
Police say his Cincinnati area house was broken into.
We do have a shattered window in the bedroom. The bedroom has been ransacked.
The latest in a string of high-profile burglaries appearing to target professional athletes as they're competing on the road. According to an incident report, Sports Illustrated model Olivia Ponton, who police say works for the quarterback, arrived at his house Monday night and called 911.
Can they please send other people? It's like completely messed up.
Her mother also making a call.
My daughter is there. This is Joe Burrow's house. She is staying there. He's at the football game.
Police not detailing what was damaged or taken, but it comes as several professional sports leagues are warning players and teams of burglaries by organized and skilled groups. In October, the homes of Super Bowl champions Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce were broken into within hours of each other.
It's frustrating. It's disappointing.
Multiple NBA stars also hit in recent months. Milwaukee Bucks forward Bobby Portis saying on Instagram his home was burglarized in early November.
They took most of my prized possessions.
While no suspects have been identified in any of the cases, the NBA sent a letter to staff saying league security received a FBI briefing that connected many of the home burglaries to transnational South American theft groups, and that groups are primarily focused on cash and items that can be resold on the black market. Two senior law enforcement officials telling NBC News last month the FBI is working with local authorities to find their suspects.
They can do the reconnaissance. They fly a crew in to actually do the physical break-in. So none of those people are even in the country when they start investigating it.
The NFL's memo suggesting that athletes always activate their home security systems and avoid posting expensive items on social media. as investigators work to track down the suspects before the next away game heist.
So let's talk about that, Shaq, because this seems to keep happening. What are the next steps to try and track down a suspect or maybe even a potential link to these other robberies?
Yeah, well, here on the ground, local police say that they have contacted neighbors to see if there's any surveillance images or videos of the suspect or suspects in this case. We do know that the county sheriff's office says that a deputy was actually stationed at Burroughs' house. Part of that detail, not clear what response or what impact he had on the investigation to this. We did reach out to Burrow. He has not responded to our request for comment, but the NFL says that it's been in contact with the Cincinnati Bengals about this incident. Craig?
All right. Shaq Brewster for us there in Cincinnati. Shaq, thank you.
Yeah, it's getting crazy out there, man. No security alarms. No security. I mean, Joe Burrow's house, man, that's a nice crib. That is a nice house. Goodness gracious. And the thing is that they know that he's on the road. They see the schedule. So they knew that he was on the road down in Dallas for a Monday Night Football game, and they took advantage of the opportunity. That's why I tell people all the time, man, it's so important, man. Don't be out there posting on social media. Now, I know these guys, these are professional athletes, and they can't help it. But for us regular folks, don't be out there posting, while you're on vacation or telling people, trying to flex that, hey, man, we're going on vacation, because what you're doing is you're inviting people to come and burglarize your home. That's really what you're doing. Because trust me, there are some people that are watching, and because things are so bad right now, people are desperate. But I don't know if you guys saw the video, but we talked about this, maybe a week or two ago, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, about the gang Tren de Aragua, who this is part of their MO. They've been crime sprees all across the country. They talked about this out in down in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. I think his name is Grady, Sheriff Grady down there in Florida in Polk County. He talked about this and about these guys. They were targeting some of the wealthier citizens and business owners down there in Polk County and burglarizing their homes. So this is something that's going on. And this gang, they're in the mix of everything. I mean, they're in the human trafficking, they're in the drug game. Obviously they're taking over apartment complexes. They're, burglarizing homes. It wouldn't surprise me that if there's some fraud going on as well, scamming going on as well. We got to get these guys up out of here ASAP. We got to get these guys up out of here ASAP. And it just kind of, going to flow right into the feature story that we're going to talk about, San Diego and this super sanctuary county. I mean, I've never heard of such a thing, a super sanctuary county, but I'm definitely there with you, RJ. If you are going out of town, you plan on it, or you're going to be out of town, wait to post your pictures and things of that nature until you get home. It's okay. Everybody can wait for you to flex on them, about the fact that you went down to Cancun. They can wait for you to come home. Be safe. Don't just be out there, telling everybody your business. Absolutely, Eric. Super sanctuary county. Never heard of such a thing. It's the craziest thing ever, man. But this broadcast is brought to you by our sponsor, Lear Capital. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll get back into the feature story. Let me be brutally honest with you all. Our American values and financial system are under attack right now. You need to act fast and learn alternative ways to invest. That's why I trust Lear Capital for buying gold and silver. In today's volatile economic and political climate, precious metals can protect your wealth. Lear Capital has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and more than 3 billion in trusted transactions. Here's what I recommend. Call Lear Capital today. 800-489-6450 or visit learrp.com to request their free gold and silver investor kit. You can take possession of your metals, store them, or even roll over an IRA or a 401k into a gold IRA with the same tax benefits. Plus, they're offering up to $15,000 in bonus gold for qualified purchases. Call today at 800-489-6450 or go to learrp.com for more information. All right, so San Diego County is now a sanctuary or super sanctuary county. Super sanctuary county, because you know they weren't going to make it easy for Trump and Tom Homan. You guys know that. You know they weren't just going to let Trump walk in there and start upholding the rule of law without any pushback. So let's talk about what happened here. In a 3-1 decision, the San Diego County Board of Supervisors, they have voted to restrict the use of county resources for federal immigration enforcement. This isn't just a sanctuary city. It's a supercharged sanctuary county now. It's so ridiculous. They're not just protecting undocumented immigrants from deportation. They're actively supporting them from offering and giving these people health care, all the way to education, all on the taxpayers' dime. Like the folks out in California aren't paying enough taxes as it is. I mean, it's ridiculous. But let's check this story out right here.
This policy goes beyond California's existing sanctuary laws by adding an additional layer of bureaucracy that hinders local law enforcement from directly notifying ICE about illegal immigrants who are currently in our jails, and they have committed heinous crimes, including child abuse or endangerment, driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, but only if this conviction is for a felony, possession of an unlawful deadly weapon, gang-related offenses, a crime resulting in death or involving personal affliction or great bodily injury, possession or use of a firearm in the commission of an offense, torture, rape, and kidnapping. That's the population we're talking about. So under this policy, and if a legal immigrant commits one of these serious crimes, San Diego County would be legally prohibited from directly coordinating with ICE. This effectively protects the offenders from deportation, allowing them to remain in our communities where they could cause that same harm again. And this isn't just theoretical. We have seen the devastating consequences of such policies across the nation. Barbie Larson was brutally murdered in her own home by an illegal alien gang member with a history of drug possession and burglary. He was released because of sanctuary laws. Kate Steinle was senselessly shot and killed on a San Francisco pier by an illegal immigrant with a long history of violent crime. Just months ago, I sat next to Patty Morin, a mother whose life was shattered when her daughter was raped, murdered by an illegal immigrant. Her heartbreaking testimony is something I'll never forget. A reminder that these tragedies are not statistics. They are human lives forever altered. And these tragedies are preventable, but sanctuary laws allow them to happen by allowing illegal criminals back into our communities instead of into the hands of ICE. San Diego County is already spending $5 million annually of taxpayer money to provide legal counsel for illegal immigrants facing deportation, no matter what the reason is that they're being deported. This proposed legislation, to me, seeks to prioritize the interest of illegal criminal immigrants over the safety of law-abiding immigrants and citizens. I don't think we can continue down this path. Sanctuary policies are like these shield dangerous criminals, undermine law enforcement's ability to protect our communities, and actually put our lives at risk. We cannot let San Diego County become the next headline for an avoidable tragedy. These policies aren't just flawed, but they're reckless and they endanger every member of our community. Let's prioritize safety over politics, justice over ideology, and protection of innocent lives above all else. I'll not be supporting the item. Thank you.
Sounds like common sense to me. but this is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. How is this legal that they want to propose to protect people who are committing crimes in their community? How is this even legal? And it doesn't make sense. What the heck is going on in California, man? This new policy basically requires county officials to avoid cooperating with ICE. Now, these sanctuary policies, they're not new. They're not new, and they're in a host of cities around the country. They've been around for years, but they've ramped up in response to Trump's presidency. Sanctuary policies are designed to limit cooperation with federal immigration enforcement, often to prevent ICE from using local resources for immigration enforcement. And if you think this is about protecting migrants, think again. It's not. You know, there's always something else with our friends over there on the left. This is a political chess move by the Democrats to thwart Trump's agenda, plain and simple. Plain and simple. We've heard much about these sanctuary cities or, these sanctuary city policies, over the years. And but we sure heard a lot of complaining from the blue cities during Trump's first term, and now again that he's about to assume office. Now, Trump from day one promised to secure the border. People voted for him because he promised to secure the border. That was one of the main things that people were shouting about and upset about and concerned about. That was probably the big one, that and the economy. And he also promised to enforce immigration laws and deport those who are here illegally. He also said that he wanted to figure a way to fast track the people that's been on the list for 10 years trying to get over here, that's been ignored by this current administration for people that basically broke the law to get here. He wants to figure a way to help those people. And they also need to make sure that they can pass the test. They know where they know the 50 states. They know the capital of the United States. They know what the Statue of Liberty is and what it means. These things are important. We need people that not only know about the country, but embrace what being an American is. But what do these daggone Democrats do? They basically fortify sanctuary policies to act as a buffer against these promises. And it's just so unfortunate. And I hope the people out in California see this and vote accordingly to get these people up out of office. And these people, they basically plan on giving a huge middle finger to the American people who voted overwhelmingly for what Trump is trying to get accomplished. And that what they're telling you is they don't care about you. They don't care what you think out there. They don't care that these people are stealing your resources. They don't care that they had to raise your property tax and raise your taxes to pay for this stuff. They don't care. The fact that they've chosen to put criminals above law-abiding citizens should tell everybody out there exactly who they are. So yeah, this move, it's not about compassion. It's strategic. They got their tails kicked this time around. And they're probably going to get their tails kicked in the daggone midterm come 2026. We're not going to talk about that right now. And Kamala, she couldn't even flip one county. She couldn't flip one county. And if I'm not mistaken, out in California, I believe at least 10 counties flip red out there. And sure, Trump, he has a whole lot of obstacles to get past, a ton of them. But the trend in this country, well, it's trending right. And now I'd say that they could turn it around with a little bit of introspection. They could, but they're too busy, living, and they're too busy with this trying to live this moral high ground that they won't take that time to do this introspection. And they won't do it. And they won't ask the question of, how did we go from the party of the working class to the party of the elites? They won't ask that question because they don't care. The money doesn't come from the working class. It comes from the elites. It comes from those in those entertainment industries. It comes from those. It's time for them to reassess, but I highly doubt that they'll do it. I highly doubt they'll do it. You know, I don't know. I'm not even sure if they're even capable, you know, of doing it from what it looks like right now. So instead, they know they got to protect their base, whatever little bit of base they may have left, in a few select densely populated metro areas. And they hope that they may be able to expand it in some shape, way, form, or fashion. But even those people in New York City are frustrated with the policies. We've saw what's going on, or we've seen what's going on out in Chicago. The people are frustrated. And I know you guys, you know, seen the video earlier. They said that they're going to raise the property tax $68 million. They wanted to do $300 million to help people that shouldn't be here. You know, so how do you go on, how do they go on about expanding their base when their policies are completely out of touch with the average American and what the average American actually expects from the people that they place in these positions? They've literally imported people and then used the sanctuary cities to maintain and grow their political power. I mean, think about it. Think about it for a second. You can ensure that millions of potential voters feel safe, but they're not protecting them. They're not even interested in protecting them. They're not trying to even secure future votes. I don't know what the heck they're trying to do. And if Trump comes in and starts deporting people like he said he would, well, in theory, that would shrink the pool of potential Democratic voters. And I think that's what they're afraid of. So these sanctuary cities and counties, what they're doing is essentially building walls around these communities for Democrats to keep on maintaining power in those areas. It's really just a tool to manipulate the demographics of the country. And you guys know who it hurts. It's not going to hurt the elites. It's not going to hurt those people that live in houses behind those walls. It's not, who can pay and afford to pay for security. It's not going to help them or hurt them. No, it's going to hurt people like you, people like myself. It's going to hurt regular tax-paying Americans, the average American out there. That's who it's going to hurt. And you hear all this talk about, contributions to the economy and this and that, but who really benefits? Who really benefits from this? Sanctuary policies drive down wages and benefit big business looking for cheap labor. That's what happens. And for the average American worker, this means lower wages and fewer jobs. See the United States of America right now. It's economic exploitation, masked as quote unquote humanitarianism. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And it's not just going on over in California. It's not just California. It's Democratic strongholds all over the country. They're all in a complete and total panic. It's not just Cali, it's New York City, although Mayor Eric Adams is starting to come around, but we've also saw the governor out in Arizona. We've seen the mayor out in Denver. We've seen Brandon Johnson out in Chicago. These people are losing it, man. These people are losing it, and I'm glad that Tom Homan is standing on business. I'm glad to see it.
Police departments, not just in Chicago and the state of Illinois, but across America, to do more and more. It's just not sustainable. Our police department will not dub as ICE agents. It's just, we're not going to do that. And it's a dangerous precedent where members of communities begin to feel unsafe with their local police department, right? We're already working to restore confidence and trust in our local police department. The last thing we need is members of community feel like they can experience a raid from a local police department on behalf of a tyrant. Look, here's what I would encourage President Trump. That's what I would encourage him. work with Congress to come up with significant immigration reform policy. Like, we can actually do that. President Biden was working on that, got bipartisan support in the Senate, and then the House blocked it. And look, the president-elect exercised his power to stop policy from being enacted. Now he has the ability to actually do something of substance and value versus just to continue to make threats. Like, to me, it's just a waste of power. Like, imagine me as mayor of the city of Chicago and I just start threatening people all the time. Would you even want to come to those press conferences? Well, maybe you would. Maybe it would be entertainment for some people, but it's not leadership. You don't hear me threatening people. I'm just saying we're going to stand up for people. That's what leadership requires. That's what I'm doing. That's what my administration is doing. We are standing up for people. We're not threatening people. That is one of the most iniquitous forms of governance that I've ever seen, right? And particularly for these United States of America, where we have had to live through threats. Look, I'm a descendant of slaves. Living through threat is painful. It's why the migration to some extent took place. Where blacks from the South were threatened by political leaders in the South, threatening to hang people, threatening to lynch people. Like, those threats have real consequence. And my people know what that's like to experience those threats. Why would I want anybody else to experience that?
This guy, man. This guy. Really? So he talks about members of our community shouldn't be scared of raids. My question is, which community is he talking about here? Seriously. Because if he's referring to undocumented immigrants, then let's just call a spade a spade. These so-called members aren't supposed to be here in the first daggone place. Now, I get it, compassion and all, but shouldn't we encourage people to come through the door, not the daggone window? Matter of fact, not only did they come through the window, they actually busted the window and crawled through. If you want to be a part of this community, a part of this country, then do it the right way. Hey, I am 100% okay with legal immigration. People that come over here the right way, take the test, learn about the country, and become real Americans and proud to be that, I'm okay with those folks. But the people that come over here that you see driving around with their flags in their car, have zero intent on learning the language, zero intent on conforming a little bit to the American way, and they're out here committing crimes, and they're out here being liabilities and not assets to our communities and country, we should all have a problem with that. I mean, come on, man. Come through the front door with proper paperwork, respect our laws, and then we can talk about integration and the community. Then we can talk about that. But to say they shouldn't be scared of raids, I mean, that's like saying burglars shouldn't be afraid of the police. Or they shouldn't be afraid of you in your home waiting on them. Exercising your Second Amendment right. And then there's Johnson's comment on Trump focusing on immigration reform. And let's be clear. The Democrats have had their chance at immigration reform, and what did we get? We got a bipartisan bill that was nothing short of a Trojan horse. This bill was dressed up as a comprehensive reform, but was really about amnesty with little enforcement. It was about giving a temporary shield to millions without addressing the root issue that's going on at the southern border right now. They knew it wouldn't pass, and when it didn't, they knew that they could point the finger at Republicans for not wanting reform. I mean, come on, man. It was all political theater. That's all it was. It wasn't a genuine attempt to solve the crisis. But let's not stop there. Let's not stop there. While Johnson and his Democrat buddies champion sanctuary policies, look at what's happening on the south side of Chicago right now. They got turf wars between migrant gangs and the local black community. You got black gangs protecting their neighborhoods from migrant gangs now because the cops' hands are tied. They can't do anything. They can't get in the middle of this. And who do you think suffers the most? Who do you think suffers the most when this is going on? The very people Democrats claim to care about. I mean, it's the hypocrisy is on 1,000 with these people. Democrats push these sanctuary policies, claiming they're helping the downtrodden, but when migrants come in, they often end up competing for the same limited resources as the communities they're supposed to be helping. Same limited resources of the community that put Brandon Johnson's behind in office. Jobs, housing, social services. Yeah, sorry, we don't have enough for you. We're supporting these guys that just got here, that hadn't paid a dime into the system. And people in Chicago and other places are rightfully pissed the heck off. Rightfully so. And I mean, I would feel a certain kind of way. But again, elections have consequences. I hope the people in Chicago kick things off by making sure that they get Brandon Johnson up out of there. But the thing is, it can't just be a primary situation. They got to get someone to run against these Democrats out there. Do you guys realize out in Chicago, they had 8 or 9 people run for office, all Democrats? There was not one person from the right to challenge these people. So you get what you get.
Johnson, you made promises to people. You told people that you understood the struggle of the West Side. You understood the struggle of the black man. You understood that. Yet when you got here, it took you over a year and some change to put, what, $500,000 into a study for reparations. And yet you're going backwards. You're bending over backwards. You're cutting out other funds for the COVID relief and all of this stuff for immigrants that you don't know of, criminals who are coming over here. This is not a conspiracy. This has been confirmed. They're coming over here, breaking into stores, breaking into houses. They're coming over here and doing anything they want to do. No type of punishment. They're in and out of jail. Unlike the black boys that you said that you can relate to, that you said that you sympathize with. The only sympathy we've seen since you've been in office is to illegal immigrants who are coming over here and they're terrorizing and plaguing the community. And this is the last straw for the Democratic Party.
This guy's 1,000% spot on. 1,000% spot on. You know what? We got to run that back. We got to run that back one more time. I don't know if you guys heard that.
Anything right. Johnson, you made promises to people. You told people that you understood the struggle of the West Side. You understood the struggle of the black man. You understood that. Yet when you got here, it took you over a year and some change to put, what, $500,000 into a study for reparations. And yet you're going backwards. You're bending over backwards. You're cutting out other funds for the COVID relief and all of this stuff for immigrants that you don't know of, criminals who are coming over here. This is not a conspiracy. This has been confirmed. They're coming over here, breaking into stores, breaking into houses. They're coming over here and doing anything they want to do. No type of punishment. They're in and out of jail. Unlike the black boys that you said that you can relate to, that you said that you sympathize with. The only sympathy we've seen since you've been in office is to illegal immigrants who are coming over here and they're terrorizing and plaguing the community. And this is the last straw for the Democratic Party.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie? This guy was, man, he was all the way on. Where is the sympathy, Brandon Johnson, for your own citizens? Where's the sympathy for your own citizens? These leaders, I mean, if you can even call them that, I want to think they don't understand the consequences of their own policies. But I think they understand full well when you prioritize one group over another, especially when that group isn't supposed to be here. You're not just bending the rules. No, you're breaking the trust of the very people who put you in office, the very people who put you in office to protect them. It's like they're saying, oh, but we care about all of you, while they're busy handing out free passes to those that just jump the daggone line. And Mayor Johnson, listen up, man. The folks of Chicago didn't elect you to be a cheerleader for illegal immigration. They didn't do that. They elected you to look after them, to look after the city of Chicago, to look after the South and the West Side and the North. But what do we see? A man more concerned about welfare or the welfare of those who broke the law to get here than the citizens who followed the rules, pay their taxes, and played by the book. It's a slap in the face, man. And what happens next, you guys got to see this right here. This is awesome.
Chicago police say they were called to a home at 59th Street between St. Louis and Central Park for a call of a person shot.
Oh, no, it's the right clip, but my bad.
Chicago police say they were called to a home at 59th Street between St. Louis and Central Park for a call of a person shot. Once police arrived, they found 8 people shot all inside that home. They say it was 4 men and 4 women, all of them between the ages of 20 and 35. Police say 3 of those men are now dead, and we know that of the 5 who were injured, 2 were taken to Christ Hospital, 1 was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, and another one was taken to Mount Sinai, and 2 transported to a hospital. It's unclear what hospital they went to. We had a chance to speak to a neighbor and police about what unfolded here in Chicago lawn this evening. Take a listen.
We have 8 victims that we're going to solve this crime and find the individuals that are responsible for this heinous, terrible incident. It appeared to be a social gathering taking place at that location. There have been calls of service at this residence before.
From that home, it seems like they party a lot. Yeah, they like to have a good time.
How long have they possibly been living there? When did you first start seeing or hearing the partying?
Maybe within the last 6-7 months.
All right, my bad. I thought I had the Tom Homan clip in there. My bad. But this is crazy. So right here, here we are. So apparently the culprits behind this particular shooting right here, the culprits behind this shooting were allegedly illegal immigrants. Undocumented immigrants, whatever you want to call them. I don't know the term that they're using these days. It's the PC term. This isn't just a one-off incident, though. It's not. It's a symptom of a deeper issue. These illegal aliens, illegal immigrants, these undocumented migrants, whatever they're calling them these days, from Venezuela, are allegedly at the heart of this tragedy right here. So at least 8 people shot, 3 people, are dead. And this isn't just a number. These are lives. These are families torn apart. Most of these people aren't vetted. They're not vetted. They're brought here on buses and planes, given stuff for free. And a lot of them, they go on to commit crimes. When you have an influx of people, some are bound to bring their troubles with them. Trump said it. There was somewhere along the lines of 13,000, people that have been let into this country that they know have committed heinous acts, whether it's assaults or worse. And these people are in a sanctuary city where there's a policy basically to look the other way. Where do you think these criminals go? This is exactly why President Trump's agenda, particularly his focus on mass deportations, is so crucial right now. It's not about being unkind. It's about being safe. It's about keeping our communities safe. It's about ensuring that our communities remain secure and that our laws are respected. This isn't just about immigration. It's about protecting the citizens of this country, the very people who elected Brandon Johnson to be there, and the very people who elected Trump to be there, expect for him to keep true to what he promised us. But here's the kicker. It's not just the Democrats who are, working against Trump. It's not. It's not just the Democrats. No, we've got some people in the Republican Party, folks who probably should have retired years ago. I mean, these folks are so out of touch that they got the gall to try to step in and stop him. They're so set in their old ways that they'd rather see the country slide into chaos than back a strong, secure America. And who am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about none other than Senator Mitch McConnell. You guys heard the story from yesterday.
Is your head okay after that fall? Senator? Are you good?
Goodness gracious, man. I kind of feel bad for him, to be honest with you. I do. So apparently, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell took a fall during a Senate GOP lunch the other day, and it wasn't the first time that he's failed. He previously suffered from a concussion and a rib fracture back in March of 2023. And despite all of this, I mean, he's decided to step down from the leadership role in January, but plans to continue serving as a senator. We need term limits, people. We do. Being a senator or a representative in the House, just like being president, it wasn't meant to be a lifetime appointment. It wasn't supposed to be like that. Now, I never wish, and I hope you guys wouldn't ever wish for someone to get hurt. I mean, that's not us. That's not me. That's not who we are. Those aren't the types of things that, we do around here. And I pray, for speedy recovery for him, for real. And I hope that he's okay. But I hope he takes some time to look within himself and to think, is this how I want to spend the last years of my life? In the halls of the Senate and, not with my family or with my loved ones? I mean, we saw Dianne Feinstein sitting in, hearings and couldn't speak. How are you making decisions and how are you representing your constituency and you can't talk? We need term limits, man. If they won't leave on their own, we need to make sure, put some checks and balances in there to make sure that, hey, you can't be here for 50 years. I keep thinking about, our founding fathers, and, what the average age, was for those folks. And, it was a different time. And, for the most part, they were in their 40s. And I think, more than a dozen or so of them were, in their 30s. Or younger. Hamilton, if I'm not mistaken, was maybe 21. James Monroe was 18. James Madison was 25. Johnson was 33. Jefferson was 33. Now compare that to the ages that we see in our three branches of government now in 2024. Think about that. Now, granted fact, people didn't live as long as people live today. I mean, a 25-year-old man back in that time frame was considered middle age. Let's just keep it a buck. But you got Mitch McConnell here, apparently, trying to halt the Trump agenda. And what makes me so mad and what upsets me about this situation is that he won't be around to see the consequences of that. He won't be around to see the consequences of his actions. Whoever's making laws for us should probably have something at stake. You guys agree with that? I'm with you, Zephyr. I think 65 should be the limit. I mean, they should be here living through the decisions that they make. not just passing laws to shape a future that they won't even be a part of. And you would think that most of these people, they have children, they have grandchildren. So you would think that they would, maybe pass laws and implement laws and with the thoughts that, hey, I'm leaving something, I want to leave something great, for my progeny. But it seems like that's not the case with these folks. It's like, if you're going to cook, you should be willing to eat it. You should be willing to eat what you've made. But here we are, man. With these old timers making our soup, and they're not even going to be around for dinner. These people are selfish as all get out, man. Because you know what it's about, man. It's about the money. They make these big decisions and then they retire or, pass on, leaving us to deal with the aftermath. When you're in your 80s making laws, you're not thinking about the long term. You're thinking about right now. And probably, which lobbyists, gave them a bag to pass whatever it is that they're passing. They're thinking about what gets them through to the next session, maybe the next election, if they're still in the game, I guess, But the real impact, the real consequences, those are for us. Those are for the next generation to grapple with. Term limits are needed. It's past time that we've had term limits for people in the Senate and in the House. It should be no different. The president gets 8 years. I'm not saying that the Senate should, cap at 8, but maybe you get 2 of those. Maybe you get 16 years and it's time for you to move on. You've served the country. The military allows you 20. Maybe you did that. Hey, you cap them just like you would the military. You get 20 years and that's it. And I wish Mitch McConnell well. I do. And I don't say this to, talk bad or denigrate, but I also wish he'd think, what am I really doing here? What am I leaving behind? What type of legacy am I leaving behind? Because, if you're not going to be around to see it, maybe it's time to let someone else take the wheel. Someone who's going to be driving this car for a long time to come, Lord willing. Like, is this who we really want making decisions for us? Is this who we really want making our laws? Going against the will of the American people who voted overwhelmingly for Trump because of his agenda. Term limits are needed. And I get it. These people will not vote for their own demise. They won't do that. They won't do that. But it's definitely needed.
Cooperation and a string of
what? Goodness gracious, man. And this is the guy who, for some reason, thought it'd be a good idea to cozy up to the Democrats on the so-called bipartisan border bill, which, like I said before, was basically a Trojan horse. The real question, honestly, is, does he even know what it is, and did he read it? Don't get me started, on the infrastructure bill when Trump wanted it. What did McConnell do then? He tried to water it down, but then you had him go along with Biden on his infrastructure bill. Like, what are we doing? Like, what is going on here? Not to mention Ukraine spending, and all the rest of it. And I'm sure, McConnell, he won't have the same gravitas in the Senate after leaving his leadership role, but still, he's a senior senator. He still has some power. Probably knows a lot of skeletons in folks' closet. He still will hold some power. And he'll have a powerful vote in a closely divided chamber. And as someone, who voted time and time again to send more money to Ukraine, like that's a good idea when we're on the brink of, just complete chaos across the world. You think he's not going to keep on trying to, rid our party of Trump's isolationist tendencies? Which, I think, man. I don't know, man. There's no reason, we should be getting involved in any of these foreign wars when we got things to fix right here at home. We talked about it yesterday. We still have people sleeping in tents in North Carolina. Many people on the Hill, many Democrats apparently see McConnell as a potential check on Trump. Who he actually called a despicable human being, according to insiders following the 2020 election. That's alleged. That's alleged. And then we're all surprised, when Trump nominees, to some of the most important roles, D&I, Defense Secretary, FBI Director, and so on and so forth, why there's such a backlash against it, not only from Democrats, which, should be expected, right? But from people within the Republican Party, establishment Republicans are also pushing against him. It's ridiculous, man. And it brings me to my next point, about these backstabbers, man. Trump's cabinet picks are stirring up some serious drama on Capitol Hill right now. And I mean, it's chaos up there. I mean, it's crazy. You've got names like Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel. They're making waves, and the establishment, they're sweating bullets right now. And why is that? Because Trump is stacking his team with people who don't bow to the system. Former White House press secretary Jen Psaki was out there claiming she has sources saying Republican senators are secretly planning to backstab Trump. And this is the same Jen Psaki who spent years spinning lies for the Biden administration. So let's take it with a grain of salt. But she's not the only one sort of alluding to the fact that more to come about this. More smear campaigns, more anonymous sources. Senator Tommy Tuberville, former football coach, he was on the Benny Johnson show today, and basically, he was talking about some of the factions within the Republican Party that seem more interested in playing the game of politics, cozying up to, wealthy donors, than they are actually interested in serving the people that they are supposed to represent. Let's take a listen to this interview for a little bit.
So, I mean, I guess that, you say you're burning the files. You are located in Washington, D.C. Are there little smoke plumes all over the city from government agencies? Because it seems like Kash Patel is going to get it. Is that your takeaway from this meeting?
I think he will. Again, you never know what the deep state's going to do. This place up here now is very, very deep with people that have been here forever that want to continue to remain in power, Benny. And again, I tell you, the next month and a half is going to be very, very interesting because Donald Trump, he just wore them out at the polls. And just unfortunate for us. We should have won 2 or 3 more Senate seats, but yes. I think that was handled very well. At the end of the day, we lost them in the dark of the night 3 or 4 days later after your election.
Yep.
But again, that's deep state. That's what happened here in Washington, D.C. But it's time to fight. We're not going to have another chance. If we don't get it done this time with President Trump, it'll have to burn all the way to the ground, and our kids and grandkids will have to build it back the way that me and you have had the opportunity to live in this country.
Yeah, I know we're up against a hard out, but I just wanted to dig down on something that you said off the top here, that you're hearing rumors. So there are rumors that are going around the Senate that we're going to get another Kavanaugh round of, I can't believe anonymous sources say this horrible thing, whatever. Every pick is Genghis Khan, right?
Yeah.
Is that happening? Is that happening to Tulsi, RFK, Kash, Hegseth?
I think we'll see that probably with Pete and probably with Kash and probably with Tulsi. I don't think the other ones, but you've got a huge movement, Benny, that are totally against these people because, as you just said, they're going to expose everybody. They have no skin in the game. They want to expose it all. And the deep state can't allow that to happen. That's on both sides of the aisle. So I think you're going to see a huge fight come January. It's going to be very interesting. I'm right in the middle of it, and I'm going to fight like hell for President Trump and all of his nominees.
Now, we didn't think it would be a walk in the park. I know you guys didn't think it would be a walk in the park, did you? I know you didn't think that. But you've got figures like McConnell, Mitch McConnell, Murkowski, Joni Ernst, along with some few others who you might say are a bit too cozy with the military-industrial complex. Just a little. Why would they be pushing back against Trump's nominees? It's because those nominees, the Kash Patels, the Tulsi Gabbards, the RFK Juniors, they're not just there to keep up the status quo. They're there to shake up things, to expose the corruption, to drain the swamp. They're there for that. And that's something the deep state, that's something the establishment on both sides of the aisle can't allow. They've got too much to lose. But you know, what really gets me is these senators, they wouldn't even be in office were it not for Trump's base. They come from the states that overwhelmingly supported Donald Trump. In some places by over 20 points. And then they go out there and they say, oh, we're on the fence. We're on the fence. We're on the fence. On the fence about what? All the whispering behind closed doors, scheming and sabotaging, his nominees. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it shows how out of touch they are with the people who elected them. So let me say this loud and clear. If you're a senator from a red state that backed Trump in a landslide and you're not supporting his agenda, you're betraying your own voters. You're betraying your constituency. And here's the real issue. Here's the real issue. These senators are cowards. They're afraid of the backlash they might get from the media or from the establishment and from their cocktail party buddies out there in DC. They've forgotten who they work for. They don't work for CNN. They don't work for the New York Times. They work for you. They work for the American people. And if they can't remember that, they have no business being in the Senate. And let's not forget the Democrats are loving every second of this. Every second of this, they are all about it. They're using every trick in the book, leaks, smear campaigns, and outright lies. Again, mainstream media is just a propaganda arm of the Democrat Party. That's all they are. And they're doing everything that they can to derail Trump's agenda. And some of these weak-kneed Republicans are falling for it hook, line, and sinker, man. Instead of, standing strong and backing Trump's picks, they're letting the media and the establishment dictate their decisions. I mean, it's freaking pathetic, to say the least. It's pathetic. And it's ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. So, here we are again facing another wave of smears, of character assassinations. But we know what this is all about, man. It's not about the qualifications of these nominees. It's about fear. It's about control. It's about fear that their world, the world of the elite, the world of the establishment, the world of control and power is going to come crumbling down. And they're trying to cover their own behinds. That's what this is about. Trump nominees, they're not just there to serve a term. They're there to really make some change in the system from within. That's what this is about. And that's why, there's pushback. That's why there are rumors and smears and despite all the backstabbing and the disloyalty and there might be a glimmer of hope, a small glimmer of hope. Senator Ted Cruz, he was on CNN with Caitlin Collins, and we're gonna check this video out here, and there may be, just maybe, there's some good news on the horizon, and hopefully he knows something that we don't. Hopefully, something that signals a shift, a fight back against this establishment nonsense.
Nominees, but do you think it's fair that someone should be, threatened with a primary just because they're not totally committed to a nominee yet?
Look, I think the voters are going to express their views. That's politics, and I believe that people have a right to say that. I also believe in the Senate confirmation process. So, every one of the nominees, I think all of Trump's nominees for the cabinet at least are going to be confirmed.
Every single one?
I do. But now look, you've got 53 Republicans in the Senate, and I think most Republican senators begin from a proposition that the president is entitled to choose his cabinet nominees. Now, there is a back and forth on it. I mean, Trump did withdraw Matt Gaetz, and that was after a number of senators pressed back. And so the advice and consent is part of the Constitution. It's an important role. But at the end of the day, and by the way, when Joe Biden was president, that's the same way Democrats approached it, which is they voted to confirm whoever he put up.
Yeah, well, and I know, with that, when we hear some Republicans saying, the president's entitled to his nominees, I've heard some people push back and say, well, we've seen Republicans vote against all of Biden's picks. You voted for against everyone except Lloyd Austin.
Yeah, but look, I mean, a lot of Biden's picks, I think, were extreme. You look at someone like Merrick Garland. I think Merrick Garland has been the most partisan and political attorney general the country's ever seen. You look at someone like Alejandro Mayorkas, who opened up the border and caused an invasion at our southern border. I was surprised Biden did not nominate more moderate candidates. You look at Trump. Trump's nominated several people who were Democrats until like 12 minutes ago.
Tulsi Gabbard, and Robert F.
RFK.
Kennedy Jr. But on the advice and consent process.
Oh my goodness, man. You got to look at how the Democrats did it, man. They confirmed all of Biden's nominees without any real pushback at all. I don't even recall hearing any type of pushback. I just don't. And we definitely didn't hear it, from mainstream media for sure. Obviously, they're just going to agree with everything that, the Biden administration, implemented or pushed through. So again, like I said, there was no pushback. I just don't recall it, and why is it always the Republicans? Why is it always the Republicans, giving themselves headaches like this? Why? Every single Republican senator must vote for Trump's vision. And if not, they should be primaried. Seriously. This isn't the old Republican Party. We need a fresh perspective, new ideas, and we need new fighters. We've got to understand something, people. The time for playing nice is over. We need our leaders to stand up, to fight for what we, the people, elected them to do. It's about time we had a party that's as fierce as defending its principles as the Democrats are in pushing their agendas. That's what we need, man. This isn't just about Trump. It's about the future of the party itself. It's about ensuring that when we say America first, we mean it. We need leaders who aren't just in it for the next election cycle, but they're in it for the legacy that they'll leave behind. Leaders who are ready to battle not just the opposition, but the corruption from within. That's what we need. That is exactly what we need. And we need younger people in these positions in the Senate that have children. I hope Vivek gets in there, in that Senate seat that, that JD is stepping out of. I hope it happens. There's a young man with children, and he's thinking about the future of this nation. So I hope that happened, man. I appreciate you guys rocking with me, man. We got a couple, what is this? A couple super stickers to shout out. Shout out to UBT. Appreciate you with a $10 super sticker, man. I appreciate you showing love, man. I appreciate everybody that shows love to the channel. Shout out to Melody Stokes for the $1.49 super sticker. Appreciate you. God bless you and BT. Shout out to new ARP members, Redefine Queen and Eric Smith. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel and joining the ARP family. Definitely appreciate you guys. And that's all I got for today, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. There's a lot of good information, man. A lot of stuff to cover. It's crazy, you know, super sanctuary city. And I actually want to, you know, say something real fast. Travis, you came in a little late. We talked about, it's not clickbait. I definitely talked about San Diego County becoming a sanctuary city. It was one of the first stories I covered. Feature story anyway. So we definitely talked about it. So, you know, my bad if you missed it, but you can always watch the replay. Go check me out. Go watch the replay. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys rocking with me. Tomorrow, again, like I said, tomorrow, we're going to do a call-in show. Probably the last 20, 25 minutes of the show, we'll do call-ins. I'm so looking forward to you. What will happen is I will drop a link in the chat. If you want to have your camera on, you can. If you don't want to have it on, it's not necessary. I do ask that you keep it PC. Keep it PC. No cursing, anything along those lines, but it's freedom of speech. If you disagree with something that I've said, I'm okay with it. If you have a question for me, I'm good with that. Or if you just have something that you want to say, something that you want to get off your chest, I'm 100% with that. Please make sure, as TA said, show me some love, man. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. You can always support the channel, super chat, super thanks, you know, something along those lines to support the channel. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. And, you know, I appreciate you guys pulling up, man. This is fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Again, like I said, like I always say, keep God first in your life, man. It is crazy out here in these streets. Please stay prayed up. You know, please stay prayed up. There's a lot going on. Drones flying over New Jersey and up and down the East Coast. We got to figure out what the heck is going on. Hey, Eric, if you find out anything, of significance that we need to know about this, call in tomorrow, man. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. I definitely appreciated our conversation the other day. Definitely appreciate that, man. And we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow, and then that will be the last show for the week. And you know, we'll be back at this thing again on Monday at 7:30, same bat time, same bat channel. All right. So, hey, man, you guys have a great evening. Have a great day at work tomorrow or tonight. You know, whenever you know are working. And again, like I said, man, I appreciate you guys pulling up and rocking with me, man. I definitely appreciate it. You guys take care. Peace.
Vibes so